back to my channel, Jaren Chen, and I'm the content creator for theguytravel.com. So in this video, we'll be talking about VTL travel, how you can travel during this post-COVID-19 era. So as you know, Singapore has eased her restriction on traveling, and a lot of people, especially Singaporeans, are very eager to travel. Finally, we can do that after 1.5 years to 2 years of COVID-19 that we actually experienced. So a lot of people, in fact, if you read the news, travel agency has been coming up with a lot of general travel inquiries on where you can travel, how you can travel safely, stuff like that. And even in SQ, the reservation office back in Orchard area is filled with a lot of inquiries, and there are long queues in Ion Orchard. So basically, this video will be covering on what we can do and how we can better prepare ourselves in travel during this period of time. So just to give a quick introduction about VTL. So VTL stands for Vaccinated Travel Lane. It's a formal agreement between Singapore government and the governments of the other countries that allows her citizens to travel freely without any quarantine. So in fact, right, before VTL travel, we as Singaporeans are actually allowed to travel to any other places. The only issue is that do these countries that we want to travel, do they accept us as a tourist? And the other issue is that when you are back from this country from travel, if you are back to Singapore, you may need to quarantine probably 10 or 14 days depending on where you are coming back from. So with the VTL arrangement, all these are all removed restrictions. So meaning that when you're back to Singapore, you can actually, once you take the PCR test, if you are proven to be COVID-19 free, you can actually roam around Singapore just like the previous time when before the post-COVID-19, we can actually come back to Singapore and eat our favorite food at our hawker center, stuff like that. So it's like freedom, there's no quarantine required when you're back home. So that is the main gist of a VTL. So right now, VTL Singapore has established a few VTL country arrangements with these countries. Mainly, let's say in Asia, you can travel to Brunei. And in South Korea, it will be allowed from 15 November onwards. And even in North America, like Canada, USA, these are places that is under the VTL arrangement. In Europe, we have Germany, Denmark, France, Italy, United Kingdom, which are places that Singaporeans love to visit in Europe. We need to prepare, let's say if you are traveling to these VTL countries. So very simply, in Europe, different rules applies across in different regions, even though it might be coming from the same country. Example, in Germany, regarding the use of masks. So in Germany, let's say if you are going directly to the capital in Germany, Berlin, you just need to use this normal surgical mask that we use in Singapore. To wear masks if you are indoors, like in restaurants, in pubs, in cinemas. But however, if you are walking along the outdoor, there is no mask required. And of course, if you are in Munich, which is the southeastern state in Germany, you need to wear masks, just like in Berlin when you are indoor. However, there's a different criteria. You need to wear the N95 hospital mask. So it will be slightly different. You need to take note of what kind of mask you need to bring. Will it be the N95? Will it be the normal mask? Stuff like that. So always remember to actually check out on the places that you want to go. What are the requirements in terms of the mask? All right. And in terms of the test kit, I would usually bring an extra test kit, put it in my bag, just in case as and when I'm required to do so, I can do a quick ART test on the spot. And the next question people ask is, does this travel insurance companies actually covers COVID-19? Yes and no. So most travel insurance companies, they do cover COVID-19, all right? But of course, there are some that actually still are not taking it into account. So just take note, major companies like AIG Travel, FWD Insurance, ASA, Smart Traveler, and Sombo Travel, they do cover COVID-19. Alright. So in fact, some of these plans is very good because they offer you compensation in terms of, let's say if you're going to other countries, but you're still in Singapore, but you contracted COVID-19 already, and of course you're unable to travel, you need to cancel your hotel bookings and your flight plans, everything, right? So these plans, some of the plan that is very comprehensive, they covers this area that allows you to actually seek for a refund from the travel insurance company, as well as some of the losses. And they also cover you medical coverage and give you a thin allowance when you're still in Singapore, right? So the next question that we always heard is that do we need to do a pre-departure test in Singapore, and what does it actually mean? So very simply, pre-departure test, it actually refers to a PCR test or antigen rapid test, all right, which is actually administered officially by recognized medical personnel in Singapore prior to your outbound travel. So before you travel to other countries in Singapore, you need to log on to this website called Notarized, www.notarized.gov.sg. This is where you can have just 4 simple steps. You simply log in, you input your travel, your flight details, where will you be going, and you are able to submit your pre-departure test that you have done previously onto this website, and it will actually help you to digitally authenticate this certificate, and it will be endorsed by the Ministry of Health in Singapore. And definitely you can use this, put it on the app, you can save it on your app, you can put it on your email, and you can actually have a soft copy of the QR image saved on your mobile device. Besides that, it's best to be more traditional, that you will have hard copy printout with the QR image being clearly displayed. Alright. So what are the type of requirements or certificates to prepare? Very simply, before you leave to the country or destination, when you are in Singapore, you usually need to do a pre-COVID departure test at all medical institutes, or very common medical institutes like Raffles Medical. They do offer such a choice. Do take note that if you can book online or can do a walk-in at all these clinics. Most importantly, it has to be 72 hours before you're taking your flight. All right. And all countries require that except for United Kingdom. So if you are going to, let's say, United Kingdom, you do not actually in fact need to have a pre-departure test when you're in Singapore. All you need is, once you arrive in UK, United Kingdom, on your day 2, you need to do a test in United Kingdom, and that will actually certify that you are COVID-free if the test turns out to be good. All right. And as for returning back to Singapore, there are some points that you need to take note, because once again, as I said, different countries have different set of rules. So if you're back from Korea, you need to take a pre-departure COVID-19 PCR test 72 hours before your departure flight back to Singapore, and obtain the negative test result. It can be a physical copy or it can be an electronic copy. All right. And you also have to book when you are actually out of Singapore, right? You have to book a arrival COVID-19 PCR test in Changi Airport, right, before taking your flight back to Singapore. All right. So what does this mean is that all travelers on the VTL lanes arriving back into Singapore, they need to take PCR test, and once they take the PCR test, when they arrive in Singapore, they have to take their own private transport. It can be like taking a taxi, it can be taking a Grab services, or even have your own family members arrange your own transport back to your home residence. So once you're back at your home residence, you need to wait probably 2 to 3 hours, depending on how fast the test results are out at the Changi Airport when you take the test. And once the test shows that you're COVID-free, you're actually free to roam around like. So with that, I have actually finished my quick summary, I would say, on COVID-19 tests, or what are the things that you need to prepare when you're traveling out of Singapore using the VTL lane. Right, so just remember to like, subscribe to my channel for more travel ideas and inspiration.